Hello everyone and welcome to Nara's Tarot. Thank you very much for being here. In today's reading, we're going to find out what is your next career, your next job. Okay, so gonna find out some of that juicy information. This is especially for people who are looking out for a next role, or maybe you're planning to change jobs, you're planning to start your own business, do your own thing, and you just want to find out what's next and confirm it for yourself or not. So that's the reading for you. We have 3 piles for you today. This is pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. So feel free to pause the video here if you'd like to take some time to connect with the piles, and otherwise I will see you at your reading. Hello pile 1 and welcome to your reading. So we have your tarot cards over here and we're going to get oracle cards for you next. But this first card over here is going to show me what's currently going on in your career situation, and the next 3 cards will give us information about what's coming next. Okay, so to start off, we have the Sage of Light Codes, which is the King of Wands in reverse. Ooh, and the keyword actually here is direction and delegation. I am just hearing from many of you that you are losing a sense of purpose and meaning with your current career, current job. It's not giving you any kind of life direction. In fact, you can't see yourself doing this for a long time. You can't even see yourself doing this for a good time. So it's just like, what am I here for if it's not even good or long? You know? So that's as clear as it gets. Let's just go and look into what your next steps in what's next in your career. Okay, we have the 6 of Wands in reverse, the 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Earth Guardians in reverse, and the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Earth Guardians also in reverse. Alright, pile 1. So what's next in your career is you needing to have a real talk with yourself about what you really want. Because you know it, but I think for some of you it's just hard to admit. And it's hard to admit because it triggers up a lot of feelings of perhaps shame and lack inside you when you acknowledge that, number 1, you really want some career success, you really do, and you really feel like it's time for it, and number 2, you would like some financial success as well. And these are the 2 main things coming in, but there could be more for many of you. But we need to acknowledge first that that's what we want. That I want career success and I want financial success, period. And then when we acknowledge that, is also then when Spirit will show us what we need to do to get there. But until we actually acknowledge that, it's all going to be a bit of a blur. We won't really have the full direction. We won't really know. We won't really understand how to get there because we haven't really even consolidated within ourselves that, hey, this is what I want. We haven't even given ourselves permission to want it, so you can desire it. It's not shameful to not have career success or not have financial success now. Take the shame out of it and let yourself desire without shame, right? We're not desiring it because we don't have it. We're just desiring it because that's just what we want. It's just that juicy, okay? So you know that you want success, 6 of Wands, you want recognition, you want visibility, 6 of Wands. 4 of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles, you want to let go of this situation right now in your life where maybe finances are always very tight. It's always what comes in is what goes out. And you want to reach to a place where you have the 10 of Pentacles, level of abundance, where there's surplus, there's more than enough to go around, and maybe you can even give back to people. Like, that's where you want to be. Give yourself a chance to acknowledge that, and then your career will open itself up to you. But right now, what's next in your career, it really is just starting at this ground zero to first just accept that I want this, say it out loud, put it in your journal, tell yourself that, make yourself feel comfortable just saying it to yourself. And then the rest will show up. Okay, so let's get you your oracle cards and see what else Spirit wants you to know about your career. Okay, we have here Zadkiel Purple, Destiny, Pride, Conscious, and Forgiveness. I really do feel that there is something that you want, and it is in your destiny. Like the reading here, that like the front part, it was really just about accepting your path. And I don't know why, but some of you have so much hesitance to accept that financial success and career success is part of your path. And there's so much shame attached to it as well. Even just attached to the desire of it, it feels shameful. And maybe because some of you feel like, the kind of career success you want is not the kind that maybe you were expected to have. Maybe you feel like you're going to let some people down because you want to go in a certain direction. But then that calling, there's something there about it, about your destiny and your life purpose. There's something there about it. So Zakil here, in this card over here, is a first hint that, hey, pay attention to it, because it's not just coming up for fun. It's not just like coming up as a joke. Like there's a reason why you feel drawn or called to a certain career path. Okay. The next card is Chamomile, light green. And this card is in reverse. It says anxiety, burdened, restless, and despair as the keywords. There is certainly a lot of career anxiety that many of you have. And like these two energies could not be more different, right? We have anxiety, and then we have destiny, we have burdened, and we have pride, right? Like, where do you put your focus on? Because I think something about your current career is also bringing you a lot of anxiety. Like, it's not an easy job that you're doing. It's also kind of stressful with the King of Wands in reverse. It demands a lot from you. Like, it's not a good nor a long time, like we said, right? So it's already challenging in and of itself. And therefore, it's also making you question if this is how you want to live the rest of your life. Like, doing something that's so stressful and not even what you want to do. Like, the stress is not worth it. Like, it's not to say that if you walk your life purpose, right, that therefore it would all be rainbows and butterflies and there's not even an ounce of stress. Of course not. There will be stress, but at least that stress could be more worth it, right? Because it's contributing towards a good cause. But here, you're just sinking into something that doesn't really quite pay back. So your guides are kind of pointing to a very a clear trade-off here, because if you go this way, you know that you're just spending a lot more time and stress and emotions and burden dealing with something that you don't fully believe in, versus giving yourself a chance to take on the burden of your life path. Which is it? $1 million question there. Oh, underneath the deck we've got reality check. Yeah, this totally felt like a reality check from your angels. Assessment, exploration, honesty, and determination. So we have to really assess the situation right now and see if it still makes sense. Like, this is a huge reality check. And if it doesn't make sense for us, let's say financially it doesn't make sense, or lifestyle-wise it doesn't make sense, then how can we make it make sense? Like, maybe you have bills to pay, maybe there's just some real life things, right, we have to manage. Fine. But then how can we make the life purpose part of the equation make sense then? Because just finances alone, doesn't make it worthwhile anymore. So even if you have to keep the lights on, what can you do to start making that life path of yours, that life purpose of yours happen? All right, let's grab you a couple more oracle cards, see what else Spirit wants to tell you about your career. Okay, we have here Fire Dog, redefine your boundaries. Very much so, especially if your current job is it's eating up a lot of your personal time, especially if you have to work overtime a lot, or if there are certain people in your career right now that are pushing your boundaries a little bit. It's time to redefine them. Like, hey, I got to knock off at 5 or 6 because I got other things to do. I got my life to lead, right? Like, how do you set those boundaries up? It's time to redefine them. We then have Water Snake, access your inner knowing. And Water Dragon, manifesting your dreams. That is quite literally everything that we have said in this reading here. You got to redefine your boundaries with your current career. You got to find out and accept and acknowledge what you want to know, which you already know with the inner knowing. You already know what your path is. You just got to accept it, and now it's time to manifest your dreams, water dragon. And I'm also hearing with the water dragon that you are very supported in your path of manifesting your life purpose, okay? Underneath the deck, we have Earth Sheep, return to your center. Yeah, I think some of you have been feeling very like ungrounded and unbalanced in your current career. Like it's pulling you too much in one area in your life. Like for instance, it's creating too much stress, but not enough time for relaxation. Or maybe it's creating a lot of there's a lot of responsibility but not enough authority to make decisions, for instance. So it becomes a very unbalanced situation. Return to your center, return to what really matters to you, redefine those boundaries. You really got to do that, okay? Now let's grab more and see what else Spirit wants to tell you. Okay, we have Inspiritus, Breath of Life. We have Mythic Horse, Unfold Your Own Myth. This is your life purpose, pretty much. And we have here Tank, Worth Waiting For. Yeah. Something about this career that you really want to have. Something about this life purpose that you want to translate into your career is worth waiting for. It's also worth fighting for. All right. So it's to the point that this thing is giving you life, like breath of life, right? Like your career currently could be taking away your life, but then doing your life path will give you life. So it's so connected to your life force. You might be also someone who feels very drained all the time. You could be experiencing a lot of fatigue because of your career. And what will give you back energy is when you do what you want to do, when you do what matters to you, when you put energy into the things that will give you energy back. All right. Underneath the deck here, we have Grace, When Hearts Become Whole. So it's also, I think Grace here is saying that like some softness and some gentleness is needed, because I think for some of you, like accepting that this is your dream, it is taking a lot of courage from you. So give yourself some grace and gentleness to come to terms with it, to ease into it, to just sink into it day by day, that hey, this is what I want to do. I can use myself as an example, like even like doing tarot, right? Like it took a while to actually get it out of myself that hey, I want to do tarot. I've been doing it, but I never thought of like making it a career, right? Like it just never hit me. And I would be watching all of these other people do tarot videos and I'll be like, yeah, that's not me though. You know, I could never see it. And it really took a while before I got it out of my own mouth that like, hey, that's what I want to do, right? And so I understand it can be a process of just gently easing and teasing it out of yourself and letting the fears just kind of like dissipate naturally over time. So give yourself space, give yourself grace, and you will find the point that becomes effortless to acknowledge that this is you. Okay, let's see what else Spirit wants you to know. We have here wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with the challenge. So again, inner knowing and this wisdom card, I feel like this is for many of you, like you already know the answers and you just need to sit with yourself quietly for a while. Like it is that simple. Like just be with yourself for a bit, meditate on it, journal on it, just breathe into it even, and give yourself space to acknowledge what you already know. Okay. All right, the next card is Find Balance. That's wild because we were talking about how unbalanced things were. But it says here, find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap, okay? So I think some of you, like, it could be also that it's been so stressful that it therefore is hard to just be a little bit more grounded and centered and more like aware of your own inner thoughts. So just have some time to find some balance, and I think regulating yourself will also make it easier to uncover and unearth some inner truths, all right? Underneath the deck, we have wait for winter. During the colder months, the fairy queen of winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes, as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. So winter time could be the time when you manifest something pretty major for yourself. So that could be a certain timeline that's applicable for some of you. The next winter, whenever this reading finds you. All right, so let's get you some final affirmation cards for your reading. And we have here, life is good to me. Pretty straight up, simple, beautiful. And underneath the deck, I trust myself, I am wise, I am brave. Amazing. So pile number 1, this is what I see for you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this reading brought you some clarity for your career, and I look forward to reading for you in future as well. Okay, bye now. Hello pile 2, and welcome to your reading about what's next in your career. So we're going to start off with tarot, and these 2 cards here will show me the situation in your career right now, and the next 2 cards will show us what's coming up next. Okay, so let's start off with the current situation, and it is the 10 of Swords and the 7 of Swords in reverse. There is something about your career right now that feels very unsustainable, and you know it. You can feel it very viscerally, I must add, with the 10 of Swords and the 7 of Swords in reverse. You know that it isn't really a lifestyle that or a plan that will give you a good foundation for the future. I'm hearing that this is happening on the multiple fronts for different people. Like for some of you, it's taking out so much energy from you, but it's not really paying you well, you know? And for others of you, like it's demanding so much from you that you have to drop other needs in your life. Like you can't take care of your lifestyle, you can't take care of your wellness, you don't really have a life. It's not really working out that way. I'm also hearing that there could be a lot of like office politics that happen in a way that creates a lot of stress, and so much is happening under the table that you can't even really understand everything. You can't even really navigate it well, and that's why it's causing so much stress. And therefore it makes it pretty unsustainable to keep going with this thing, okay? So if this is you, let's find out what's next in your career. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, pile 2, bear with me because I need to explain the situation first before we get to what's next. But basically, I think some of you are facing like a pretty big blind spot with your career right now, in that you don't know where you want to go. And I think for some of you, I even hear that you feel pretty abandoned by the universe with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It just kind of feels like, you know, everybody else is getting their windfall but you. And not only that, you don't know what to do with yourself. So you just feel like you're figuring things out in the dark. And it's a pretty unpleasant feeling. And so career-wise, your future just feels like a big black hole. You have no idea where it is going, and there's no sign or hint from the universe or from your higher self or from anything bigger than you about what it could look like. So it's a pretty frustrating and pretty difficult thing to have to contend with. Now, the first message from Spirit is that this is a huge growth area for you to open your eyes to what's possible for you. And it's going to require a lot of vulnerability and a lot of trust to open your eyes to your career path. Something about this feels like a very major lesson for many of you. I kind of feel like you had to learn things the hard way. You had to learn what you don't want and what doesn't work for you, to then understand what you do want and what works for you. All right, so that's where this Ten of Swords and Seven of Swords energy is going on here. It's showing you in a pretty challenging way, but a hard way, what is meant for you. Okay? And the next step for you is to give yourself a chance to try something new. Try something new in your career. If some of you have been wondering, like, maybe I want to start an entirely new career path, maybe I want to give myself a chance to do that thing that I've always wanted to do, maybe I just want to quit my job, relax for a bit, figure things out before I start on my next path, maybe I want to start pursuing that dream that I've always had. Okay, if there's something really big that you feel is big to you that you want to do and you've been holding yourself back, this is the time to do it. Okay, and in fact, Spirit is also saying that there is no better time. There is no best time, when the stars are all aligned, when the astrology is great, when there's nothing in your way to start doing something. No, that time will never come. Any time is the best time. So start now. Figuring out that blind spot is like a huge thing, which is why it's not even coming through that clearly in this reading, because I think that for many of you, like, opening up your heart to what you want in life is the whole point. That is the whole point. And like and part of your like soul's contract is to like literally allow yourself to want those things and give yourself the chance to do it. Okay, I'm gonna get oracle cards because the tarot cards are kind of just like presenting this really powerful picture here. So let's just see what else we get from Spirit. Okay, let's unfold further. All right, we have here Sandalphon turquoise in reverse, and the keywords are resentment, bitterness, withdrawn, and pain. And then we have soul groups also in reverse, loneliness, emptiness, overlooking, and misunderstood. You know what this feels like? This feels like some of you having made the choice to go with a career path that maybe was expected of you. Maybe you felt like it was the well-treaded path and it was the safe thing to do. But now you're walking it and you're walking it with a lot of resentment. You're walking with a lot of bitterness and you're seeing other people, soul group, you're seeing other people doing what you want to do and you feel pretty misunderstood. You feel pretty lonely because you're not connected to your soul tribe. And I'm getting like a big, kind of like, I feel like I'm getting a download here from like Spirit. Like it's a pretty... Like I have a sensation in me when I know a download is coming in, so that's what I'm feeling right now. And I feel like for many of you, this is like a pretty, it's a download that has been wanting to come in for some time. And when it comes in, it could come in pretty big and strong and pretty uncomfortable as well. But bear with it, bear with me as well in this reading. We'll make sense of this together. But basically, you kind of have felt like, very resentful of the choices you've made and kind of also resentful at the universe in some way. And there is a little bit of that victim energy here, maybe a little bit more than a little bit of that victim energy, and Spirit's just pointing it out like, hey, nobody's to blame here, not even you. You made the choice and now you've learned the lessons you needed to learn from that experience. What now? What now? The decisions you make now are more important than blaming and resenting the past, okay? Underneath the deck, we have reality check in reverse, and it says here indifference, inactive, misguided, and unmotivated. So I know that I'm really feeling some of you like that you've given up. You've straight up given up. You know that it's not working. And maybe that's why the Queen of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, because you have given up. You've given up trying. You've given up hoping. You've given up asking the universe for more because you feel like it's not even possible for you anymore. And despite you knowing that this isn't working out, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords, you've also decided that there isn't going to be an alternative available to you. And that's a very, very damning thing to say to oneself. That's like a very big, almost like life sentence to say that, well, I'm writing off my entire life. That's it. I'm just going to have to do this career that doesn't work for me, and so be it. Like, you've got life ahead of you, but you've kind of like taken the life out of your life, basically. And so everything now feels very, very dreadful. Okay, so let's get you a bit more guidance here from the universe from Spirit. Alright, we've got a bit more cards, but let's go with that. We have here Earth Dog, reconnect with ancestral love. Earth Tiger, breaking through the barrier. Yup. This Earth Tiger card kind of feels like the Fool card, right? Because we have somebody or the tiger here walking off a cliff. And it's very much this idea of taking a leap of faith, breaking through some kind of barrier that you have put on yourself that you feel like you can't cross. Okay, and this Earth Dog reconnect with ancestral love is also your ancestors coming in saying that they're here to support you in making this choice. Because so many of them before you have either made the same mistakes or they have gone through the same lessons that you have, and they are here to help you to get through it. All right, so Earth Tiger here is helping you to push past this limitation that you've set upon yourself to go beyond. All right, we then have Earth Ox, one with the universe. And Fire Monkey, time to embrace change. Yes. Okay, so it is time to embrace change. I feel like the cards are pretty self-explanatory, but being one with the universe now is finding back your spark, finding back your spirituality, finding back some kind of meaning in your career. Because you've lost that meaning and you feel like you've lost the plot for a long time, and therefore career path, career purpose, life path, these kinds of things might feel very foreign to you. In fact, it might also feel like complete made up stuff, like you don't even believe that a career path is a thing anymore. You don't even believe that like dreams are possible. Like I feel like some of you have completely given up on that. And therefore, returning back to being one with the universe is so important because it's bringing back that spiritual layer to things, right? And that spiritual layer just helps one have meaning and a sense of purpose and a sense of like belonging in what we do, right? Like it helps you to at least feel like this is all worthwhile, that we're building up to something that's greater than us. And it doesn't feel so minuscule or trivial or mundane when we inject the spirituality into our experiences. And please don't forget, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So come back to yourself, come back to the universe, come back to seeing things not just in that mundane lens, but greater than that, okay? Underneath the deck, we have Fire Horse, effortless vitality. This is the year of the Fire Horse in 2026 when I'm filming this. So if you are watching it in 2026, the first message here is that this is a very opportune time, in fact, to take some massive decisions with your career, because you are in some kind of alignment if you do make these decisions. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't see this in 2026, because the other message coming in here is that it's not going to be as difficult as you think it's going to be. Effortless vitality means that it kind of moves quite easily, like it's not going to be that big and that a massive of a change as you imagine. I think some of you feel like you, in order to do your life path or your life purpose, like you have to make these like huge insane sacrifices, but maybe not. Maybe actually it gives you more energy than it takes from you, and it's gonna give you more vitality, more energy, more life, and overall just improve the overall quality of your life. So give that a chance. Like that's possible. Okay, all right, let's see what else comes through. We have here storyteller, once upon a time, and Hiraeth, letting the earth teach. Okay, underneath the deck we've got Orion's prodigy, finding your voice. Yeah, it is time to find your voice amidst all of this. So storyteller here, I just feel like for some of you, you've been telling yourself a story for the longest time about what your life is supposed to be and what your career is supposed to be, how things will play out. And the question here is, well, where did this story come from? And how much of it is based on truth and how much of it is based on judgment or somebody's preconceived notions. And that's why your ancestors coming in are so important, because they're also helping you to untangle perhaps some kind of family myth, some kind of intergenerational story that people in your family, in your lineage have been telling themselves, and it's been keeping them trapped in a kind of like career loop. Like maybe there's always this like financial income ceiling that people reach, or they meet some kind of career challenge, and everybody goes through the same thing in your family, and it kind of becomes a bit uncanny, like, hey, how come all of us are facing this and we can't break out of it? Okay, so storyteller here is asking us to examine the stories we tell ourselves. Let the earth teach also makes me feel like this is about us returning back to the basics, right? Coming back to the basics, unlearning a lot of things, and just letting the universe teach you things in a more organic way. Rather than like, hey, let me go speak to a mentor, or let me go talk to someone, or let me go read a book. Like maybe all we need is just pay some attention to our surroundings, to what the universe is constantly telling us. Just come back to the basics and learn from there, because the universe and the world is your teacher. Before you read a book, before you talk to anybody, before you do any of that, just find yourself in greater communion with the universe. And I often find that that's where a lot of the breakthrough wisdom comes from, right? Like a random conversation with a stranger, or some song I listen to and it just inspires me, or it brings me to some memory and it triggers like, hey, that was what that was about. Like sometimes it happens very serendipitously, so give yourself space to just flow a bit more, sink back into your spirituality. If you feel like lighting a candle, do it. Light some incense, put back some magic and some ritual in your life, and see where that takes you. Because I really feel like for some of you, you've lost your spirituality, and it's time to take that back, and it's time to inject that back into your career. Okay, let's find out what else Spirit wants you to know. All right, we have here healing. Yeah, you are in need of some career healing. Now is the time for you to give or receive healing. Everyone has a natural ability to heal others. Yes, even you. So some of you might feel more called to do something that's more meaningful in terms of like giving back to society, or being of some kind of service to society. So you might find that you're called or drawn in that direction, and this card will be confirmation of that. The next card we have is abundance. Prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks you may have. In fairyland and human land, there is enough abundance for everyone. So, yes, take a deep breath, guys. Like, you have been restricting yourself to such a great extent, and it's time to just breathe, believe that it's possible for you. I almost said believe that it's impossible, so holy shit, that Freudian slip was pretty intense. Believe it's possible, guys. It's possible, okay? It's possible. And have an attitude of abundance. Like abundance is all around you. It's showing you what's possible. It's bringing you that career, that financial, that juicy abundance. Like when we're in that flow and abundance state, everything feels great. And we're being called to inject that feeling back into our career. And I also want to tell you that this is therefore what's next in your career. It's abundance, okay? So how will you put yourself in a position to receive this is more important. All right, so let's grab you some final affirmation cards to find out what Spirit wants to leave you with. And we have here today, everything is unfolding perfectly according to a greater plan. Beautiful. And we have, life is good to me, straight up. And underneath the deck, we've got amazing. Every dark night must turn into a bright new morning. Amazing. Okay, so pile number 2, this is what I see for you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this reading brought you some career clarity, and I look forward to reading for you in future as well. Bye now. All right, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we're going to start off with tarot cards, and this card over here is going to tell me your career situation right now, and then we're going to look at these 2 cards to look at what's next in your career, okay? So, the very first card is the 10 of Pentacles. So pile 3, if you chose this reading, for many of you, you might already be pretty satisfied with your career. You've gotten to a level of achievement and accomplishment, and it's overall in a direction where everything just feels good, right? But when it's going good, it also could mean that it's too stable, it's too predictable, it's getting very comfortable, and you might be in this reading because you're just curious about, well, what's beyond this? What else can I do? What's next for me? Because this here is great, but then we're just wondering if maybe there's more. Okay, so I wasn't expecting the Ten of Pentacles, but here we are, and that's really great for you. So let's find out what's next. Okay, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Four of Cups. Pile 3. Now this is getting interesting because I think you are very accomplished in your career, but then it's not the complete vision that you are after. So it's not to say that you don't have any successes now, and it's not to say that you're not proud of your achievements now, or there's nothing to shout about. There is. But then with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, there's something even bigger that you're looking out for. And I think some of you know it. Like, you know what that goal is. It's just, now I'm hearing it feels a bit out of reach. It's like, is this all that I can achieve? Am I not able to get to that bigger picture, that bigger vision? Like, So that's why this Four of Cups is like us looking out for new information, for new guidance, for new things to help us to piece together the puzzle in terms of where we need to go next. One piece of guidance here coming through is already to just be patient with this process, because there's something about this big goal, this big vision you have that is moving at a pace that's very different than what you were used to, right? Because from the Ace to the Ten of Pentacles, maybe things happened a bit more quickly for you. But then once you go from the Ten of Pentacles to the Page, Knight, Queen, and King of Pentacles, which is then another journey of achieving mastery over your career, achieving a certain level of authority and power over something that you really want to achieve, that is happening at a very different speed. So have patience with this process. It really can't be rushed. There are certain things that just need time to build: relationships, foundations, maybe even like projects or products. Like, some things just need to take their time. And so it's okay for you to give it a bit more space. Don't rush it. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. Okay? Let's get you some guidance from your angels right now about your career. We have shower of prosperity, wealth, opportunity, success, and manifestation. You guys are you're very in tune with it. I don't think you have a problem like manifesting more cash for yourself and more prosperity. It's so more of that is coming, all right? We then have don't compromise in reverse. And the keywords are passive, resigned, intimidated, and fearful. Yeah. So don't compromise on your vision. I think some of you are just a little bit afraid that it's getting a bit too comfortable, and you're wondering if like this comfort zone is a sign that it's not really, that maybe you aren't really pushing the boundaries, or you're not really, being innovative or being different. And the guidance here is that this isn't something, again, you can't really compromise on the quality or the process. All right. So I know that many of you are perhaps taking a step back or just pausing and enjoying things for a while, and that's okay, because this is a season where you can harvest, and then some other things are happening in the background, and you can start laying the groundwork and planting the seeds for that future vision of yours. But don't compromise on the quality of what it takes to reach that vision. Okay. Underneath the deck, we have your dreams are within reach in reverse. Wow. Actually, it's your desires are within reach. So that was what I was picking up just now, that I felt like some of you feel that this big goal you have is quite out of reach. And your angels are coming through with these keywords here: disbelief, stubbornness, apathy, and anxiety. This is just this nagging feeling in the background that you're not active enough or doing enough to get to that ultimate goal. Just be mindful of this, because awareness, just having awareness is enough. Awareness of, let's say, if certain things pull through, or let's say a deal comes in, or like, a really important piece of the puzzle opens up for you. I don't know. Like, if you notice that something is happening with your career and that it could really help with that big dream, then you can move the pieces and you can move things forward. I'm sure you're already paying attention. But if, it's just a season of waiting right now, then so be it. Don't over criticize yourself or don't give up hope just because things are happening a bit more slowly. All right, let's see what else comes through for my pile threes. Wow, we have water rat, focus on your vision. And we've been talking about vision for this whole reading, which is, yeah, you have this vision. Don't lose sight of it. All right. And then we have here Earth Ox, one with the universe. Yeah, so you're definitely co-creating this vision of yours with the universe. So just continue to stay close to that, stay attentive, stay open, stay hopeful. Things will move through eventually. Okay. Underneath the deck we have Firebird, seek and you shall find. Very beautiful. You're gonna get it. Okay, so just keep your eyes open. Continue to speak your manifestations to the universe. It's gonna happen. All right. Woo! Your next card is Ambassador, Invincibility of Spirit. Wow. So I'm hearing it for some of you with this Ambassador card that you guys want to become leaders in a specific field in a big way. Like you literally want to become like the voice of something, and that's the vision that you have for yourself or for your company or for your industry. Like you would like to kind of like pioneer something almost with this Ambassador card. So doing that would require a lot of courage. Of course, it requires a lot of also skill and the ability to hold that vision, right? To be an ambassador of something. So you're pulling together a lot of things, but it's not so much of like a hard skill. It's a lot of like softer qualities in this big vision. So we got to have patience with it because those things are manifesting on a very different scale, at a very different speed also, I must add. Okay, the next card is Dharma's Path, the end of suffering. Wow. Beautiful. There's also something about your career vision that will see you giving back to humanity in a big way. And I think that's what some of you are really looking for. Maybe doing some kind of charity, some philanthropic work. You might be interested in giving back or building some kind of community. And that kind of big building, an organizational building, I think it does take its time. Right? And you're looking at how can you best bring this vision to life. So it's not something you can rush because it also has to be aligned with your values, with like how do you steer the overall organization in the right way and like have a good strategy in place, put the right people in place as well. So like I feel like there's so many ingredients coming in to make it work, and therefore it's requiring like a different kind of like speed. All right. Underneath the deck we have, what's this? Ex Tenebris Lux. Hope I'm saying that correctly. But it says here, from the darkness comes the light. Okay, so one more thing here for you to note is that things will become clear. Right now, if it's fuzzy, if it's confusing, it's all part of the process. And like one of my spiritual teachers always says that like after confusion comes enlightenment. And so if you want enlightenment, you got to allow yourself to go through the journey of confusion, right? To ask those hard questions, to ponder about on the things that other people aren't thinking about, to put yourself through the challenging doubts and the darkness, in order to see the quote unquote light. That's what it takes, we have to go through confusion. So after confusion comes enlightenment. So you will find that clarity for your career and that big vision at some point. Just have patience with how that is unfolding. All right. Okay, the next two cards for you is number 1, find balance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. Okay. And then we also have here inspiration. Be prepared as you'll soon receive a visit from the fairy of inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call at any time. So this is also another thing important for many of you. Like, the more you dream of a big vision, the more you also need to give yourself space for that big vision to happen. And space comes from having literally space in your calendar, space in your environment, having space in your mind, even. So it's also a little bit about doing less. So if you're like always knowing that if you're always like, working hard and grinding hard, this might be a season where you got to like delegate out your work, do a little bit less, so that you can actually have more space to like do you, rest, and get inspired. Because that is how you can nurture that vision. Because when we're in like a really stressful state, if we're always caught up in the doing, it's a little bit, you have to like gear shift to get into like that vision and that dreaming state, right? Which is why most of us dream about our future in the New Year resolution time. Like, that's when we think about things, and then the rest of the year is just about executing it. And that candle just went out, so I'm gonna have to replace that, but I'll keep going up for a bit because it's probably hot. But yeah, it takes a bit of time to just dream and to vision, right? So give yourself space. Underneath the deck, we have nature signs. Be receptive to the subtle messages from nature as you go about your day. Nature talks to us continually. We need only open our hearts and minds. Nice. And let me replace that candle and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, and we are back. Okay, so your final cards here are some affirmation cards from Spirit. So let's see. We have nothing is impossible for the heart. Love will always find a way. Beautiful. And underneath the deck, we have, I listen to the intuitive wisdom of my own feelings. I am guided from within. Again, a message about, finding some kind of space and guidance to listen to that intuitive calling from within you, to be able to pull together this vision of yours that is so beautiful and so big and so, so wonderful in its way of giving back to humanity. All right, so pile number 3, this is what I see for you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope it brought you some career clarity, and I look forward to reading for you in the future as well. Bye now.